Have you ever picked up your camera and just couldn't be bothered? Not because you don't love photography, not because you're too busy, but because the spark just isn't there anymore. If that's you, you are definitely not alone. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 simple things that have helped both me and many photographers I've taught over the years rediscover their enthusiasm, to get their mojo back. And if you can stick around until the end, I have a bonus thought that could well make all the difference. Now, one of the reasons I'm making this video is because this has actually come up recently with a few of our photographers in the Photography Foundation's community. People who genuinely love photography, people who have enjoyed taking pictures for years. But for whatever reason, they found themselves in, well, a bit of a slump. They haven't lost their ability, they haven't lost their knowledge, they've just lost a little bit of their enthusiasm. And the thing is that happens to just about all of us at some point. And speaking of photography foundations, this may well be of interest. If you'd like a safe space to continue your photography journey with like-minded people, then why not come and join us in our Photography Foundations community over on School. It's a really safe and friendly place to be. No ads, no algorithms, and no traditional social media nonsense. Just photographers from all around the world who are learning, practicing, sharing, and supporting each other. We have an active forum where members post their images, ask questions and share ideas. There's a classroom with structured learning and feedback sessions, a members map so you can see who's near you, and regular challenges and discussions to keep your photography moving forward. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, the link is in the description, or you can use the QR code on the screen, and we'd love to see you there. Okay, let's get into it. 5 ways to help get your mojo back. I think this is possibly the biggest one. When we lose our photography mojo, we often tell ourselves a little story. We say things like, I'll go out when I feel inspired. I'll take my camera when I get my enthusiasm back. Or, I'm just waiting for the right moment. But what if we've got it backwards? What if motivation isn't the thing that comes first? Because in my experience, it often doesn't. I go to the gym a couple of times a week, and I'll be honest, there are many days when I just don't feel like going. But I go anyway, and almost every single time I feel better for it afterwards. Photography is exactly the same. You don't always find motivation before the action. You find it during the action, or after the action. Sometimes all it takes is a 10-minute walk with your camera. Maybe one interesting shadow, one nice piece of light, one photo you're really pleased with, and suddenly the spark comes back. In my experience, action creates motivation far more often than motivation creates action. So don't wait for the urge. Create the opportunity for the urge to come back, if that makes sense. When we lose our enthusiasm, we often start thinking too big. We feel like we need to create something absolutely amazing, something portfolio worthy, something you can hang on the wall. Now that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So let's try and remove a bit of that pressure. Instead of going out to take great photographs, go out to take on a really simple challenge. Maybe photograph 5 shadows, or find 3 circles, look for 1 color, make 10 photos in 15 minutes, or photograph things that begin with the letter S. It doesn't really matter what the challenge is. What matters is that it gives your brain something specific to look for. And something interesting happens when you do this. Your attention shifts. You stop worrying about results. You start becoming curious. And curiosity is very often the first step back to enthusiasm. People think photography is all about finding great subjects, when very often it's about learning to notice things you'd otherwise walk straight past. Now this one might be a bit of a home truth, because I've been guilty of it too. I think we all have at some point or another. And this is when we feel stuck, we often go looking for more information. We watch more YouTube videos, read more articles, look at more photographers' work, buy more books. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. There's nothing wrong with learning. Learning is obviously very important. I'm a teacher after all. But there comes a point when more information stops helping. Because knowledge on its own doesn't change anything. It's what you do with the knowledge that matters. Photography is a bit like learning to play the guitar. You can watch all the tutorials, learn all the chord shapes, and read books about songwriting, but none of that actually writes the song for you. At some point, you have to pick up the guitar, strum a few chords, make a few mistakes, or a lot, and start creating. That's how confidence is built. That's how improvement happens. And that's often how your mojo returns. And if you want to go a bit deeper into this particular idea, I'll link to last week's video called Why Some Photographers Improve Faster Than Others, because it explores this in much more detail. But for now, the short version is this: stop collecting information and start collecting experiences. Sometimes we don't actually lose our mojo. Sometimes we just get stuck in the routine maybe. We visit the same places, photograph the same type of things, use the same lens, make the same kind of photographs. And after a while, everything starts to be a bit familiar, a bit stale. So why not try something different? If you usually shoot landscapes, try street photography. If you love portraits, try still life. If you shoot wildlife, maybe try abstract photography. You don't have to become an expert, and you don't even have to be good at it. That's not the point. The point is to reawaken your sense of curiosity. There's something really interesting about being a beginner again. When you remove the expectation of being good, you subconsciously give yourself permission to play, to try things, and play is very often where your creativity is. So this one is a little more personal. Whenever I've lost my enthusiasm for photography, I found it helpful to remember why I picked up a camera in the first place. And for me, that takes me right back to my mum. Mum was the family photographer, and one of the first things I did was borrow her camera and take daft, silly photographs of my brother and my sister just larking about. I wasn't thinking about composition, or sharpness, or social media. That didn't exist, and actually, I'm really glad it didn't when I was a kid. Anyway, I was just having fun. Years later, when I had my own children, I found myself doing exactly the same thing. And these days, it's often the grandchildren who end up in front of the camera, just having fun, just having a good time. And that's a good reminder for me, because it helps me remember that photography isn't always about producing masterpieces. It's not all about producing wall art. Sometimes it's about connection. It's about memories. And sometimes it's about documenting the people we love. And that's actually why I got started in the first place. So if you've lost your mojo, ask yourself, why did you get started in the first place? What was it that made you fall in love with photography? And what was it that made you want to pick up a camera? The answer to that may just tell you exactly where to look next. If you stayed with me this far, thank you. And here's that bonus thought I promised you. And for me, this is one of the most important things in photography. Stop comparing yourself or your work to someone else's. Instead, start comparing yourself to you 6 months or a year ago. Because comparison is a thief and it's sneaky. It steals enjoyment. It steals confidence. And it often steals motivation, your mojo. The truth is, there will always be someone with better gear, more experience, more followers, more awards, more years behind the camera. That's not the game you should be playing. The only comparison that really matters is this. Are you a better photographer than you were 6 months ago? Do you notice light more than you used to? Do you think more carefully about composition? Do you understand your camera better? Do you see the world differently? If the answer to any or all of those is yes, then you are definitely moving forward, and that is well worth celebrating. Because photography is not a race. It's not a competition. It's a journey. And every photographer's journey looks different. So enjoy yours. So let's quickly recap what we covered today. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Take action first and let the motivation catch up. Give yourself a small photography challenge. Sometimes curiosity is all it takes to reignite enthusiasm. Stop consuming and start creating. So less scrolling and more shooting. Photograph something different. A change of subject can very often lead to a change of perspective. Revisit why you started. And not forgetting our bonus, stop comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to you. Remember what made you pick up the camera in the first place. Because sometimes the fastest way forward is to reconnect with what made you fall in love with photography to begin with. Photography is never a straight line. There'll be times when you feel really inspired, and there'll be times when you feel a bit flat. I've been through them, and most photographers I know have been through them as well. Losing your mojo doesn't mean you've lost your passion. It doesn't mean you should sell your camera. And it certainly doesn't mean you're finished as a photographer. Sometimes it just means you've been standing still for a little bit too long maybe. So pick up the camera, give yourself a small challenge, go for a walk, take a few photographs, be curious, be playful, and just see what happens. Because the spark you're looking for might not be waiting at home. It might be waiting for you just around the corner. So have you ever lost your photography mojo? If you have, what helped you get it back? Let me know in the comments. I read and respond to everyone. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really is appreciated and it helps support the channel. And if you would like to learn more about photography in a friendly, supportive environment, don't forget to check out our Photography Foundations community over on School. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.